Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you all. I've been eating kind of good lately. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for being here. I'm going to discuss with you the new train cards that are going to be released in Blazing Dominion. Blazing Dominion is a core set that's going to be coming, not the next one here in the TCG. We still have Burst Protocol on the way in February, but the one after that is going to be Blazing Dominion. And there's actually a lot of cards in this set that I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be posting another video about the new Mimighoul card that's been announced for that set as well, so look forward to that video. But right now, we still need to talk about the trains, because rather than do a reaction, I want to give you the perspective of what these cards are going to do for this deck, from the perspective of somebody that has played this deck competitively a lot. I've been normal summoning Infinitrack Harvester for far longer than I should have been in my Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitive career, and I do have a bit of expertise on what the deck was trying to do before and what these new cards are going to do in order to modernize it. So first and foremost, what was Earth Machine? Earth Machine was a deck that focused on a resource loop. A lot of people joke about how it's a wheel spin deck that takes forever to do its combos and really ends on an Anger Knuckle and it draws 2 cards. There was a bit more nuance to that, but if you talk about the 1-card combo, yes, you normal summon Harvester and the end board gets to an Anger Knuckle and a draw 2. So you have the non-engine that you probably drew off of the Tunneler effect, and you have a ton of follow-up. The follow-up on Earth Machine was always the biggest part of it. It was one of the few decks that had reliable access to rank 10s, and Gustav into Liba was a very consistent OTK game plan. It was really good with Floodgates. It was really good with control tools. There was just a lot of stuff that the deck could do that existed outside of a long combo to set up negates. Obviously, the deck had a lot of flaws. First up, Box. Ancient Gear Box was a terrible Garnet. It was just awful. The combos you would have to do when you drew Box were so bad. But it had other really bricky engine pieces too, right? It played a lot of cards that didn't operate on their own. Dozer was a perfect example of that as well. Dozer only works if you have an Earth Machine that you can normal summon. You had Tunneler and Trencher, which were engine requirements that you wanted to go through your combo to get, rather than actually open with. Cards like Citadel, Fortress, and Bullet Train and Daracrane, all of these cards that didn't do anything if you drew them on their own without your starters. A lot of modern decks now have cards that are starters and extenders. Earth Machine had a lot of cards that were just extenders, and that led to a lot of bricky hands. You played 3 Harvester, 3 Heavy Forward, 3 Metal Cruncher, 3 Redeployment, or sometimes you even add Gear Frame in that. You do have a really high percentage to open one of those cards. And when you did open one of those cards, all of those extenders are meaningful. They do punish hand traps, right? You normal Harvester, it gets interacted with a hand trap, and then you go, okay, activate Brutal Dozer, still you do your combo. So that's one of the strengths of it, but it did have a lot of flaws where you would just not open up a normal summon and couldn't play. Another big issue with the deck is that an Omni Negate plus a board wipe with Citadel a lot of the time just wasn't enough anymore. That resource loop game plan clearly has just gotten worse over time and less dependable as engines have gotten strong. The strongest cards in the Earth Machine archetype that didn't have enough consistent success were Revolving Switchyard and Urgent Schedule. Revolving Switchyard, I think, is a phenomenal card. It's very creatively designed and very ahead of its time, but the reason that it didn't see play in Earth Machine consistently was because there wasn't a way to search it. And then the other one is Urgent Schedule. Urgent Schedule was a crazy card. It's still a crazy card. It was a crazy card back then, and it's a crazy card now. The problem with Urgent Schedule is that it wasn't reliable. You wanted to include it because it was one of the best cards that were unique to the Earth Machine deck, but you couldn't use it going first. It was only if your opponent controlled more monsters than you do, which made it so you could only reliably use it going second, and then you would have to try some blind second builds to make it work. You would end up siding Urgent Schedule most of the time, and that also feels really bad because you're siding an engine piece. Those 2 cards, just for as strong as they were, weren't reliable enough, and this support fixes it completely. So I am so excited to talk about these cards with you. Let's get to the card by card. Noctilucent Train Blue Traveler, a level 10 Earth Machine effect monster. You can use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can use the second effect of this card's name once per duel. So first effect is, you can discard this card, add 1 train connection or revolving switchyard from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Thank you. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 other Earth Machine monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and this card. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except machine monsters. I cannot impart to you enough how amazing this card is. It is not only a starter, it's like a double extender. It's so crazy. This special summons 2 machines at the same time, and that triggers Clifford Genius's effect to search for a high-level machine, something like Regulus, so you can get a Regulus on board to insulate the rest of your combo. It is just an incredible piece of support. If it was just this card, that'd be fine. I would be okay with it. I'd still be this hyped. And alternatively, if we didn't have this card, like if we didn't get the Switchyard Searcher, I would not be that excited. I would not have been this excited. The fact that we have this card is what makes me so pumped for the rest of this support. Heavy Knight Babbledecker is a level 10 Earth Machine effect monster with 500 attack and 3000 defense that says you can only use the second and third effect of this card's name once per turn. Its first effect is you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon 1 Earth Machine monster from your hand. If your opponent activated a card or effect this turn, you can special summon 1 rank 10 Earth Machine monster from your extra deck. Using this card you control as a material, this card is treated as an Xyz summon. The design of this card is so cool and lends itself to being the best extender in the deck, bar none. If your opponent interacts with a different engine piece at all to try and stop you, you now have this card to be able to summon, and then you can use it as an Xyz material at any point, get into one of the new rank 10s that searches for an Earth Machine and gives you an additional normal. One of the most important things about this card is the attack stat. This is a 500 attack machine, which means it meets the requisite effects for Clockwork Knight. You can use it as material for Clockwork Knight, but you can also bring it back with Clockwork Knight, which is huge. So anytime you are pushing through a board and you get Babbledecker in the graveyard, you can use Clockwork Knight to bring this back, and as they have interacted with you, you can go, okay, bam. You can Xyz summon on top of it to continue pushing through the board. We also got some Xyz monsters in this lineup. Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Rocket is a rank 10 Earth Machine Xyz effect monster with 5,000 attack and 3,000 defense. It requires 3 level 10 monsters, except once per turn, you can also Xyz summon Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Rocket by discarding 1 card and using Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max you control, transfer its materials to this card. You can use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect and this card has material, quick effect, you can negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that monster, then inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. Once per turn, during your end phase, detach 1 material from this card or destroy it. What? It's just crazy, right? First of all, the summoning condition is awesome. This means that when you go into Gustav Max, you burn for 2k just as a part of your combo. You discard a card from your hand, and then stack this on top of the Gustav Max. And Earth Machine loves discarding cards out of the hand anyway. There's a ton of crap that this deck just wants to throw in the grave. Also, of course, negation, strong. But I want to point out, this is a machine Xyz monster. See, Infinitrack Goliath is a very nice card. Once it goes to the graveyard, it can reattach itself to a machine Xyz, but it also gives a machine Xyz the inability to be destroyed by card effects. When you look at this last effect of Gustav Rocket, it says, once per turn, during the end phase, detach one material from this card or destroy it. You can just say, I'm not gonna detach. I'm gonna choose to destroy Gustav Rocket. And then Goliath goes, okay. And then you pass turn, and it just stays there. So cool. It is just so cool. Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Flying Launcher. Rank 10 with 3,800 attack, 3,000 defense. It's an Earth Machine Xyz that states, 2 level 10 monsters. You can use the first and third effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is Xyz summoned, you can add 1 Earth Machine monster or Barrage Blast from your deck to your hand. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 machine monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can detach any number of materials from this card, then target that many spell traps in the field, destroy them. This is the card that makes Babbledecker that ultimate extender that I was talking about before. Also, Barrage Blast. I have a sneaking suspicion that I might actually include Barrage Blast in any Earth Machine decks that I play. This just smacks to me as like a thing you can do into a Fuelos. Like that seems like a really valuable piece of interruption to be able to have just in case you get Fuwa'd. And then the effect to destroy spell traps, I'm not going to scoff at spell trap removal, but it's also important to note that this card pops your own spell traps as well. So if you have like a monster that's equipped to Regulus that you've used to summon it that you want to get back into your graveyard, this can destroy that. You can pop Clockwork Knight to be able to get a search. This can pop a face down Urgent Schedule that you might have to be able to search for another machine. Really cool. But that's not the last bit of the support. So this is Exceptional Schedule. This is a normal spell. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Add 1 Special Schedule or Urgent Schedule from your deck to your hand. Then you can special summon 1 Schedule token to your opponent's field. Machine, Earth, level 10, 3000 attack, 3000 defense. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 level 10 Earth Machine in your graveyard or banishment. Send 1 card you control to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon that monster. It turns on Schedule going first. You give them a token. They now control more monsters than you do. You activate Urgent, and that's like the strongest combo start of all time. You just give them a token in attack position and push into their board, and you now have Gustav Indaliba. And you can just attack the token for more damage to ensure you get game. Like, that was a huge problem with Earth Machine a lot of the time. And then we have the second effect. By the way, you can use both effects in the same turn. So this is also an extender in the grave. Like, they cooked. This is too much cooking. Like, I don't... Let's go over to the Earth Machine spreadsheet here, courtesy of Super Peludo. Thank you, Super Peludo, and the Machine Hub Discord server. A couple things I want to show off here are the strength of these one-card combos, and then the biggest I want to focus on a combo that can play through Droll. So we have Blue Traveler get Switchyard, pitch a card, get Babbledecker. We're going to go Babbledecker, link it off into Clockwork Knight, use Blue Traveler, get itself and the Babbledecker. We're going to overlay those two into the Flying Launcher. We're going to go Flying Launcher, get Harvester, and because we have an additional normal now, we're going to go Harvester, get Dozer, and we're going to detach to pop the Switchyard. We're going to go Clockwork Knight, bring back the Babbledecker. That's actually going to trigger the Dozer, which will get the Tunneler. We're going to overlay this for Stormer. Stormer is going to detach the Tunneler to search Regulus. We're going to go Regulus, equip a Blue Traveler. Harvester is going to target the Regulus to make them both level 10s. We're going to overlay the Harvester and the Babbledecker for Gustav Max. Gustav Max is going to burn for 2k. We're going to make Anger Knuckle. We're going to tribute the Anger Knuckle to bring back Stormer. And then we're going to make the Anger Knuckle, or we're going to bring back the Anger Knuckle by sending the Goliath. Goliath is going to use this effect to attach to the Gustav Max. Discard a card to go into the Gustav Rocket. We're going to go Tunneler, shuffle back 5. And we're going to draw 2 cards. So we have a negate with Regulus. We have a negate with Gustav Rocket. We have a float with Anger Knuckle. And we have 4 cards in hand, off of 1 card. All right, so we're going to start with Heavy Forward. Heavy Forward is going to get us Harvester. We're going to get Harvester, which will get us Dozer. Important thing to note here is that Heavy Forward is a continuous spell. So when we use Harvester to, when we use Heavy Forward to get Harvester, we can link it off into Clockwork Knight, which is going to get us the Clockwork Knight spell. And as I alluded to before, there are things that can get this Clockwork Knight in the grave. Now we're going to use Dozer, which is going to get a Trencher. Trencher is going to overlay into Stormer. Going to detach Trencher to get the Blue Traveler. So now that we have Blue Traveler, we're going to use it to get Revolving Switchyard. We're going to Revolving Switchyard. We're not going to use the effect to search with Revolving Switchyard. We are going to use Trencher to get Clifford Genius out. or rather, we're going to use Trencher to bring back Harvester, and then link off to into Clifford Genius. We're going to use Blue Traveler in Grave, which is going to summon back 2. And this is not only going to trigger Genius, it's also going to trigger Switchyard because a level 10 was summoned. So we're going to use Genius to get Regulus. Blue Traveler is going to get us Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede. And this is another super important part for the combo because Revolving Switchyard summons a level 4 Earth Machine monster with 1800 or more attack from the deck, and its level becomes 10. So that's going to trigger Stampedes on summon effect to summon from Grave. And now remember, this card is 10. And the way that Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede works is that it targets another monster you control and adjusts the level of both of them to either of it or the target. And since this is now a level 10 rather than a level 4, it can make another monster become a level 10. So we're going to use Regulus to summon itself here. We're going to Harvester target the Regulus. Harvester adds the levels of the target, so Regulus plus Harvester, that's 2 plus 8, so they're both 10s. And then Stampede is going to use the effect to make the Dozer a 10. So we're going to go Gustav Max to burn for 2k. We're going to overlay into Flying Launcher. Flying Launcher is going to add Scrap Recycler. We're going to pop the Clockwork Knight to get that extra machine in the grave. And then we're going to discard over the Gustav Max, discarding the Clockwork Knight. We're going to use the Clockwork Knight to get Babel Decker. We're going to get that additional normal for Babel Decker. And then I'm going to summon Regulus. We're going to summon Recycler from hand. Recycler is going to dump Citadel. We're going to go Clockwork Knight, Tribute, and Summon. Clockwork Knight also does not negate the effects of what it summons, so we're going to get another dump off of Recycler. Riverstormer is going to bring itself back by tributing. We're going to go Goliath and Clifford Genius to link into Knuckle. Goliath is going to attach itself to Gustav Rocket. We're going to go Anger Knuckle, Tribute to bring out the Derek Crane, and we're going to have Anger Knuckle, which can bring out another level 10 that we sent. We're going to have a monster negate off Gustav Rocket, which is not going to need to detach because it has Goliath underneath it. We have Regulus, and we have Super Dora that has the Derek Crane underneath it, so it's a pop, and we still have 3 cards in hand. Awesome. All right, so we're going to start off with Exceptional Schedule here. Exceptional Schedule is going to summon Urgent Schedule, and we're going to put a token on our opponent's side of the field. We're then going to activate Urgent Schedule, which is going to summon out Blue Traveler and Scrap Recycler. We're going to go Clockwork Knight off from the Scrap Recycler by linking it off, and then we're going to go Clockwork Knight, Tribute the Blue Traveler, summon Scrap Recycler. We're going to go Scrap Recycler to dump Harvester. We're going to link these off into Clifford Genius, and then we're going to use Blue Traveler to summon itself and Recycler, which is going to trigger Clifford Genius and Recycler because Blue Traveler does not negate effects. We're going to dump Trencher, and we're going to add Regulus off of the Clifford Genius. So we're going to go Regulus effect, equipping the Clockwork Knight. We're going to go Trencher to summon back Harvester. Trencher also does not negate the effects of what it summons, so we're going to go Harvester effect. And now we're going to use Harvester, target Scrap Recycler, and make them both level 5s. Note that we are not Earth Machine locked. We are Machine locked, but we are not Earth Machine locked. Blue Traveler provides a Machine lock. Brutal Dozer is the one that applies an Earth Machine lock for the rest of the turn. Now, that allows us to make 2 level 5 machines to go into Nova and then into Infinity. Now we can use Brutal Dozer to tribute the Clifford Genius. We're going to go as Brutal Dozer to summon Tunneler from deck, overlay these into Riverstormer. Riverstormer is going to search us Blue Traveler. Because we have not used Blue Traveler's effect to add a Switchyard yet, we're going to do that. We're going to then use Exceptional Schedule's Graveyard effect. So we're going to bring back the Blue Traveler. We're going to overlay these into Flying Launcher, which is going to get us our Derek Crane. We're going to activate Revolving Switchyard. Then we're going to link that off into Goliath. And then we're going to take the Flying Launcher and the Goliath to link off into the Anger Knuckle, which is then going to trigger the Derek Crane in our hand to summon. And also we have the Goliath to attach to the Infinity. When we summon the Derek Crane, we're going to trigger the Switchyard, which is going to summon Flying Pegasus. Flying Pegasus is going to bring back Blue Traveler. We're going to link these, we're going to exceed these into Gustav Max. We're going to use, that was a little bit of a mistake there. We're going to go Tunneler to shuffle back, and then we're going to chain Anger Knuckle. Okay, so the way that works is you go Tunneler, target Daracrane as one of the 5 machines, and then you chain Anger Knuckle to bring back the Daracrane, meaning you only have to shuffle back 4 and it will still resolve properly. So we're going to put back River Stormer, the Flying Launcher, the Clockwork Knight, and the Clifford Genius, all monsters in the extra deck, so we are drawing 2 new cards from the main deck. Then we overlay for Dora, and we discard a card for Flying Launcher. Of course, we will have to detach in the end phase, but that is totally fine. We have a monster negate off of Gustav Rocket, a quick pop, and make a card unaffected off of Super Dora. We have a Cyber Dragon Infinity with 4 materials that can't be destroyed by card effects, and we have an Omni negate in Regulus, plus 5 cards in hand. Crazy stuff. So this is a deck list I had put together, just sort of an idea, and this is starting with Scrap Recycler. All right. Now, this isn't necessarily a 1-card Scrap Recycler combo. This is showcasing what this deck can do now to play through Droll if you have Scrap Recycler and some extender that doesn't require your normal summon, like a Dozer or a Heavy Forward. So we're going to summon Scrap Recycler. We're going to send the Blue Train. Blue Train is going to summon back itself and the Scrap Recycler. We're going to trigger the Scrap Recycler, which is going to dump the Babble Decker. We're going to use Clockwork Knight to tribute the Scrap Recycler to summon the Babble Decker, because Babble Decker only has 500 attack. It is a valid target for Clockwork Knight's effect. We're going to overlay for Gustav Max. Gustav Max will burn. And then we are going to... Obviously, we would have to discard a card here in order to overlay into Gustav Rocket, but Gustav Rocket is a monster negate, right? So now that we have Gustav Rocket, we haven't searched at all. So we can use something like a Heavy Forward from this point to be able to add a Brutal Dozer, and we have this to negate something like Droll or Nibiru. I hope you're all as excited as I am, because I am just over the moon. I think this stuff really modernizes Earth Machine, brings it into an era that it has really needed to be in for a long time, and it did it with the cards that I wanted it to. There were 3 routes that they could have gone. They could have given them more Infinitrack cards. They could have given them more Machina cards. There's a lot of other Earth Machine archetypes that could have gotten support, but I wanted it to be Train because Revolving Switchyard was just a card that I know could be a huge benefit to the deck, and that's the direction they went, and I'm so happy about it. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're going to be cooking with this. I'm super excited, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.